Seniors, let me ask you something important. If your blood pressure is not exactly 120/80, have you been told something is wrong? Maybe you were warned, scared, or even put on medication immediately. But what if I told you that for many people over 60, chasing that number could actually do more harm than good? In the next few minutes, you lines learn the truth doctors rarely explain clearly, and it might completely change how you think about your blood pressure. As we age, our bodies change in quiet but powerful ways. Blood vessels become stiffer. Arteries lose some elasticity. The heart adapts to decades of work, so expecting a 70 or 80-year-old body to function exactly like a 30-year-old one doesn't always make sense. Yet for years, many seniors have been measured by the same blood pressure standards designed for younger adults. This has caused confusion, fear, and sometimes unnecessary treatment. Let's slow this down and make it simple. Blood pressure is just the force of blood pushing against the walls of your arteries. The top number, systolic pressure, measures pressure when the heart beats. The bottom number, diastolic pressure, measures pressure when the heart rests between beats. Both matter, but after 60, the top number becomes especially important. Here's something many people don't realize. As arteries stiffen with age, systolic pressure naturally rises. This is not always a disease, it is often a normal part of aging. Large studies, including long-term research published in major medical journals, show that mildly higher systolic blood pressure in older adults does not automatically mean poor health. In fact, in some seniors, pushing blood pressure to low can increase the risk of dizziness, falls, fainting, kidney problems, and even cognitive decline. Imagine standing up from a chair and suddenly feeling lightheaded. That's not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Falls are one of the leading causes of injury in older adults. When blood pressure is lowered too aggressively, the brain may not receive enough blood flow, especially when changing positions. This is one reason why lower is always better is not true after a certain age. So, what is the ideal blood pressure after 60? The honest answer is, it depends. It depends on overall health, activity level, history of heart disease or stroke, kidney function, and even how steady you feel on your feet. However, many modern guidelines now agree on one key idea. For most healthy seniors, a systolic blood pressure somewhere between 130 and 140 can be perfectly acceptable and sometimes safer than forcing it down to 120. This doesn't mean high blood pressure should be ignored. Very high readings, such as 160 or above, do increase the risk of heart attack, stroke, and heart failure, but the danger lies at both extremes. Blood pressure that is too high damages blood vessels over time, while blood pressure that is too low may starve vital organs of oxygen-rich blood. There's also a quiet myth that needs to be corrected. Many seniors believe that the diastolic number, the lower one, must never drop below 80. In reality, for older adults, a diastolic pressure in the 60s or low 70s can be normal and even healthy, as long as there are no symptoms like weakness or dizziness. What matters more is how you feel and how your body functions day to day. Another overlooked truth is that blood pressure is not a fixed number. It changes throughout the day. It rises when you're active or stressed and falls when you rest or sleep. One high reading in a clinic does not define your health. This is why home blood pressure monitoring, done correctly and calmly, gives a much clearer picture than a single rush reading at a doctor's office. Now let's talk about medications, because this is where many seniors feel confused or overwhelmed. Blood pressure medicines save lives. There is no doubt about that. But they are tools, not one-size-fits-all solutions. For some older adults, especially those who feel weak, tired, or dizzy, medication doses may need adjustment. Studies show that individualized treatment rather than strict targets leads to better quality of life and fewer complications in seniors. There is also growing evidence linking overly aggressive blood pressure control with memory issues in some older adults, the brain needs steady blood flow. When pressure drops to low, especially in people with already narrowed arteries, the brain may not get enough oxygen. This doesn't mean medication causes dementia, but it does mean balance matters more than perfection. Lifestyle still plays a powerful role. Even after 60, gentle daily movement like walking, light stretching, or chair exercises improves circulation and vessel flexibility. Reducing excess salt, staying hydrated, managing stress, and getting quality sleep all influence blood pressure in natural ways. These changes often allow better control with fewer medications or lower doses. The biggest mistake seniors make is living in constant fear of numbers. Health is not just a reading on a screen. It's energy, balance, clarity, strength, and independence. Blood pressure should support your life, not control it. Many seniors leave medical appointments feeling confused, not because the information is too complex, but because there was not enough time to explain the full picture. Blood pressure guidelines are often presented as rigid rules, when in reality they are flexible ranges meant to guide decisions, not dictate them. Understanding this difference can remove a lot of fear. One of the most important things older adults should know is how to recognize when blood pressure may be too low for their body. Warning signs are often subtle. Feeling unusually tired, weak, or foggy, needing to sit down suddenly, feeling unsteady while walking, blurred vision, or that brief spinning sensation when standing up too quickly. These are not normal aging symptoms that should be ignored. They are signals that the brain may not be receiving enough blood flow. Many seniors assume that if they experience these symptoms, it means something else is wrong. But research shows that in older adults, these issues often appear when blood pressure is lowered beyond what the body can comfortably handle. This is especially common in people taking multiple medications, or those who are started on the same blood pressure targets used for younger adults. Another overlooked factor is hydration. As we age, the sense of thirst weakens. Many seniors simply don't drink enough water. Mild dehydration can lower blood volume, making blood pressure drop too far, especially when combined with medications. This is one reason why doctors often advise older adults to monitor how they feel, not just what the numbers say. There is also a condition called orthostatic hypotension, which sounds complicated but is actually very simple. It means blood pressure drops when you move from sitting or lying down to standing. This condition is common after 60 and is strongly linked to falls. If you've ever stood up and felt your vision dim for a moment, this could be the reason. Proper blood pressure management can reduce this risk significantly. Now let us talk about something empowering: how seniors can take an active role in managing blood pressure safely. The first step is tracking patterns instead of isolated numbers. Measuring blood pressure at home, at the same time each day, while seated and relaxed, gives a much more accurate picture. Writing these numbers down and noting how you feel helps doctors make better decisions. The second step is asking the right questions. Instead of asking, "Is my blood pressure normal?" a better question is this blood pressure right for my age, my health, and how I feel? This shifts the conversation from rigid targets to personalized care. Many doctors welcome this approach, especially when patients are informed and engaged. It is also important to understand that the ideal blood pressure after 60 is not just about avoiding heart attacks and strokes. It's about preserving independence, strong balance, clear thinking, confidence in movement. A blood pressure that looks perfect on paper but causes fatigue or dizziness is not ideal in real life. Large clinical trials involving older adults have shown that moderate blood pressure control reduces cardiovascular risk without increasing the risk of falls or kidney injury. This is why many experts now support a more flexible systolic range for seniors, especially those over 70 or 80. Again, the focus is safety, not perfection. Another truth rarely discussed is how stress and fear affect blood pressure readings. Anxiety alone can raise systolic pressure by 10 to 20 points. Walking into a clinic already worried can create a false impression of hypertension. This is known as white coat effect, and it's extremely common in seniors. Home readings often tell a very different story. Diet also deserves a balanced discussion. While reducing excess salt helps, extreme restriction can be harmful in older adults, leading to weakness or low sodium levels. The goal is moderation, eating whole foods, enough protein, potassium-rich fruits and vegetables, and maintaining regular meals supports stable blood pressure far better than rigid dieting. Perhaps the most reassuring truth is this: aging does not mean losing control over your health. It means adapting strategies to fit your body's current needs. Blood pressure care after 60 should feel supportive, not stressful. Now let us bring everything together and finally answer the question seniors ask most often: what blood pressure numbers are generally considered safe after 60, and when should you truly be concerned? For many healthy older adults, a systolic blood pressure, the top number between 130 and 140, is often a reasonable and safe range. Some seniors feel perfectly well even slightly above this, especially if they are active, steady on their feet, and mentally sharp. The key word here is feel. Numbers should support how your body functions, not override it. If systolic pressure consistently rises above 150 or 160, that's usually a sign that intervention is needed. At those levels, the risk of stroke, heart strain, and vessel damage increases. But intervention does not always mean more medication. Sometimes it means adjusting lifestyle habits, reducing stress, improving sleep, or reviewing current medications to see if something else is affecting blood pressure. For the diastolic number, the bottom one, many seniors do well in the 60 to 75 range. A diastolic pressure that drops to low, especially below 60, may reduce blood flow to vital organs in some older adults. This is particularly important for people who feel weak, dizzy, or confused. Again, symptoms matter just as much as the reading. Another important truth is that blood pressure goals may change as you age. What was appropriate at 55 may not be ideal at 75. Health is dynamic, not fixed. That's why regular review with a healthcare provider who understands aging physiology is so important. It is also helpful to remember that blood pressure is only one piece of the heart health puzzle. Cholesterol balance, blood sugar control, physical activity, emotional well-being, and social connection all influence long-term outcomes. Focusing only on one number can create unnecessary fear and distraction from the bigger picture. One of the healthiest things a senior can do is remove fear from the process. Fear raises blood pressure. Fear causes tension. Fear leads to overtreatment. Confidence, knowledge, and calm awareness do the opposite. They support steady readings and better overall health. If there's one takeaway to remember, it is this: the ideal blood pressure after 60 is not the lowest possible number, it is the number that keeps you strong, steady, clear-minded, and independent. Medicine is most powerful when it works with the body, not against it. Understanding this truth allows seniors to have better conversations with doctors, make informed decisions, and stop chasing unrealistic targets that don't fit their stage of life. Aging is not a problem to fix, it's a process to respect. Before we end, let's take a calm, honest look at what truly matters. If you're over 60, your blood pressure does not need to match the numbers of someone decades younger to be healthy. Your body has carried you through years of work, stress, joy, and survival. It has adapted, and those adaptations deserve respect, not fear. The truth revealed here is simple but powerful. Blood pressure care for seniors is about balance. It's about keeping pressure high enough to nourish the brain and organs, but not so high that it damages blood vessels. It's about reducing risk without reducing quality of life. And most of all, it's about treating the person, not just the numbers. If you ever feel dizzy, weak, confused, or unsteady, don't ignore it. Those feelings are messages from your body. And if you're feeling well, active, and mentally clear, that matters just as much as what a monitor displays. Health is lived, not measured alone. Have open conversations with your doctor. Share how you feel, not just your readings. Ask whether your current blood pressure target fits your age, your lifestyle, and your overall health. Medicine works best when it's personalized. And remember this, knowledge removes fear. When you understand what's normal for your age, you stop chasing impossible standards and start supporting your body the way it actually needs. If this helped you, share it with someone you care about. One clear conversation can prevent years of confusion, anxiety, and unnecessary risk. Your health after 60 is not about perfection. It's about stability, confidence, and living well every single day.